Hi, everybody. This is Wendy Lovejoy again, hoping that you can hear me this time. So please, as you join in, let me know if you can hear me, and then I will try to see what's happening that's causing you not to hear the training today. This is the Yellow Letter Mentoring.com, and we are talking today about working with those in foreclosures. So Michael, can you tell me if you can hear me? I see that Douglas has also joined us. Please let me know if you can hear me. Am I being loud and clear? Can you hear the training today before I continue? Otherwise, I'm going to have to probably use a different phone. Brad, somebody tell me if you can hear me or not. Hi, everybody. Are you hearing me? Oh, okay. Is that thumbs up telling me that you can hear me loud and clear? Brad, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me loud and clear. Way to go. Thank you, Douglas, because we just had our co-host, the gentleman who's going to be live with myself, so we can role play talking to real estate investors. So for the people, thank you so much, Brad. Hey, Johnny Handsome. Mwah. I love you. Thank you for joining us. And I see Breland, we have you back. I'm hoping you can hear me this time. And we're going to add you to the camera now, as I mentioned before. Even though I'm adding you to the camera right now, I want to do a little, for those that are joining us for the very first time, you probably have heard more than once that I have been in real estate. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Anthony. And so can you hear me now, Breland?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we're going to do a little bit of training, and then we're going to do some role playing. We had technical difficulties, and so we had to start all over. So with the training, as I was mentioning before, I've been in the industry now about 25 years. We're going to have some backlash because we're hearing me with you at this point. So for those that are hearing an echo, try to ignore it and focus more on, there are two phones. This is, it's echoing. Yes, I can hear that because Breland is on his phone as well, so it's echoing back. But I'm hoping that has to turn down the volume. Okay, so Breland, turn down your volume.
Okay.
All right, so thank you, Anthony. Stay on board until we've cleared it up, and then you let us know. Are you still hearing me, Breland?
Yes.
Okay, Anthony, are you still hearing a huge echo? Hey, Leroy, glad you made it. Are you still hearing an echo, Anthony? Okay, we're going to get started. And so, as I was mentioning before, but is it as bad as before? It's a little better. Can you turn the volume down just a little bit more, Breland? Because I don't want the students to, they'll still hear you when we start the role playing. I just don't want them to get the echo. Okay, now
Okay.
it's a lot better, right? I think so, because I'm not hearing it as badly. So for everybody else, I want to share this with you guys. Being in the industry over 25 years now, it's closer to 28 years. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Mwah. So being in the industry, as I mentioned, as long as I have been, I've been in the industry so long that I have children that are now in the industry. So that's a long time. And I raised my children in this industry. And I have to say, as a real estate investor, one of the things that you guys want to pay attention to, if you're a real estate investor and you're new to investing, thank you so much, Douglas, and you're new to investing, I would not encourage you to start with foreclosures. That is one of the hardest beasts in the real estate investing. If you want to master foreclosures, I would say first start with door knocking. If you can master door knocking and not get your feelings hurt and not take everything offensively, then I would say, and you've mastered some scripts and dialogues, then I would say do this as an investor. But also as an investor, if you don't have your team together, because some of the people you're going to run into when you do foreclosures, they're not going to be a good deal for you yet until they either get a short sale, until they realize they have to list the property. So for a real estate agent, I think foreclosures are a great place to invest your time in real estate. So you can get more listings. But again, you still need to build your team, because what I teach is the way I've lived my life. I have had a very successful real estate career, but I wasn't stuck to an office. Even though I had more than one successful office in New York, I set up my business that I could travel and I could spend time with my kids and watch I had two sons that played one of them played basketball, football, and baseball. The other one played just basketball, but they were always doing something. And then I had a daughter that danced. Then I had a stepdaughter that was involved in stuff, and I wanted to be at all of their events. And I also have ministry, so I wanted to invest in spending time at church. I've always wanted to help people. So again, this is why I say when you get into real estate, figure out your why, because your why will determine how you have to build your business. And nowadays, the way the world is going, it's globalized. People are buying in every state from every country, and they're investing in America. So you don't want to be limited to your own little, where you hold your license if you're an agent. If you're an agent, you still can benefit in understanding how the mind of a real estate investor has to be. And one of the things I want you to really understand, excuse me, is that in real estate, you definitely need a new mindset. So one of the things I focus on quite a bit is I'm always telling people you have to work more. 99% of your success is in changing your mind, changing how you think. People think that's only for the Bible, but it's for your everyday life. Until you change how you think, you will not have the success you want. You've got to also learn to embrace having a mentor. You've got to embrace the trainings that the mentor offers. You've got to be willing to study the information that you get and not, try to do as little as possible of it, but you want to study the training. So today we're talking about foreclosures. And as I mentioned before, if you're brand spanking new to real estate, don't start here. Start with mastering scripts and dialogues. Start with building your team. Start with, the easy ones to me are the for sale by owners. The easy ones to me are your friends and family. Everybody knows somebody in your family that has to sell or buy a home. I would talk with 6 to 12 of family members and say, hey, listen, I'm in real estate. Do you know anybody that needs to buy or sell? Or, hey, listen, I just got my real estate license. I want to do some deals. Who do you know? And then figure out if you can be your first client. I did that myself. When I first got into real estate, the first thing I did was buy my own house. I used my commission as my down payment. It wasn't my listing. It was somebody else's listing in Cambria Heights. But I focused on cold calling. Cold calling is when you literally pick up the phone and you call people and you say, hi, my name is Wendy Lovejoy. I'm with ERA McGill. I'm calling to see if you or somebody is thinking of buying or selling a house today or in the near future. And you wait for them to answer. The thing that happens with new people that are new in real estate, they get caught up in not letting
They get caught in not letting the quiet spaces stay quiet.
Okay, your phone
Okay,
went up
your
again,
phone went up again, Breland, because I can hear the echo again.
So
So the thing is, you want to. Okay, the thing is, you want to make sure that the volume is down. Okay,
Is that better?
I'm still hearing the echo.
How about that?
Yeah, I can hear the echo.
So I'm down to one tab if I do that.
Yeah, but however you had it before, that was perfect.
Okay.
And I guess when you moved, something happened.
Well, I'm sitting in my car.
I don't know.
Got the car off, but hold on.
Okay.
You know what? Let's get rolling. Okay. Give me 1 second.
No problem. So while he's doing that, I'll continue to share with you guys. The thing that you want to understand as a real estate investor or an agent, your
goal is to master scripts and dialogues. Your goal is to master. That's perfect. But can you hear me? Okay, so you want to master building relationships with people and solving their problem. People that are in foreclosure have a problem and they want you and they want to deal with somebody who's going to be a solution for them. It is, and sometimes they have such major problems that they start there, because the thing that I find with newbies is that people that are new to real estate, they usually are still dealing with their emotions. They're still focusing on not getting their feelings hurt or taking it personal when a seller gets mad at them. And that's why I say, if you can, buy your own property first. If you're an agent, use your commission to buy a property. There's so many programs now. There's first-time home buyer programs. You can talk to a lender, and the person I like to refer people to is Anthony Williams, because he knows all the programs that are out there, and he has major relationships with a lot of different lenders, and that's the most important thing. If you go to somewhere like a Wells Fargo, they're usually going to try to fit you into a box. And if you don't fit in that box, they deny you. But somebody who has relationships with a lot of lenders can help you get a loan. So I'm a strong believer that if you have walked yourself through buying a home, a condo, or an investment property, you're going to understand what it takes on a whole nother level when you're helping others. Now, if you're not at that place and you need to close some deals first, then do that. But maybe you can purchase an investment property for yourself, because that's the second investment that I made with my commission. I was cold calling, and a lady, I explained this before, she literally cursed me out when I called her, and it just caused me to freeze in my steps. And then I hung up on her because I was basically just within an hour, I wanted to make X amount of phone calls. And I'm just picking up the phone and dialing, because we didn't have cell phones. So I'm dialing in the office. We had a touch tone, so you still had to press stuff. And so I'm dialing this lady, and she said, I'm sick of you people from your office, and she went off on me. And I was like, I froze, and then I hung up the phone, and I sat there for a minute. I said, you know what, I'm gonna ask my broker, what did I say wrong? Because I'm just cold calling. So my broker, I didn't bother to ask him because he was very busy. And so I called her back and I said, ma'am, what is it about, just so I can help you, this is Wendy again. If I can help you, figure out what it is that the people in my office have done to make you this upset, then maybe my broker can fix it and you won't have that problem anymore. And she basically cracked up. She literally laughed at me. And she said, okay, great. So let's I'm gonna add you, Breland, when the training happens. That might be better. So, guys, she literally said she always does that and people never call her back. So for me, cold calling, just picking up the phone, we call it dialing for dollars or calls for cash. You just dial and you call people, but you need a list. You need a list of phone numbers. So I encourage people to get the list from for sale by owners, to get the list from driving in their own neighborhood and looking to see maybe a listing that didn't sell. If you're a real estate agent, thank you, Breland. If you're a real estate agent, you can call expireds. You can call, you have different options that other people don't have. You can call the ones that might be in pre-foreclosure. You can go down to the courthouse and get the list. If you're an investor, then I would encourage you to invest in a list. You can spend 50 to 100 and something dollars on your list. Hey, Relinda. And then when you get the list, that list can last you a few months before you exhaust it. And by then, if you have good mentorship, if you follow a process and a system, you should have gotten a deal from it. I'm excited because one of the gentlemen that I mentioned before who was, had invested in this foreclosure system never did a deal. He invested in our program and in under 2 months, he got his first deal because I had to rechange what he thought was the right thing to do. And he was just all over the place. He was just all over the place. As a matter of fact, he's texting me now because he's so appreciative that I walked him through his first deal in foreclosures. But I had to get him to understand how foreclosures are. These are people with real problems. They're about to lose their home. Sometimes, like one young lady, her husband passed away and he didn't have insurance that covered the mortgage. And her mortgage is a $4,000 a month payment. And now not only is her husband gone, but half of her income is gone. She definitely can't afford this payment. And so we have to show her that she needs to get a short sale. And so if you're not a licensed person, this is not something you can handle. If you're an investor, you need a relationship with a real estate agent. I prefer real estate agents over attorneys for doing this, but you have to check with your state and see what they allow. A real estate agent, because if a person knows how to do the short sale, they then can list the house. This is, again, why it's so important to have real estate people on your team. The other thing I want to say to real estate agents, I made a lot of money last year because I'm licensed as a licensed person referring business to other agents. So if I have somebody that wants to move to, say, to Atlanta, and I'm an investor in Atlanta and every other state, most of the states anyway. So if you want to move to Atlanta or Hawaii or, even South Africa, I'm going to refer you to an agent in that place. And then their office will send my office a fee. So I made lots of money just doing that. And getting a check of a few $100s, $1,000 here and there, a couple of $1,000 just for referring a client to a real estate agent in another state is to me is money that you're sleeping on if you don't understand that this is another way of getting passive income. Now the thing is, you want to find good real estate agents, and today's training is not about that. We did that training a few weeks back, so go back and watch that training. And that's why I encourage you to like the Yellow Letter Mentoring Facebook page, because the trainings you've missed, they'll be on there, or they'll be posts to show you how to get to them. So I'm going to add Breland because we're definitely ready to get you guys to, let's see, where is Breland? Okay, Breland, request to be on my side and then I'll add you on. So I have done more than one training on real estate investing scripts and dialogues. Today, one of the things I want you to master or understand is that as a real estate investor, your goal is to always add people to your team. Always add people to your team. Okay, there we go. I'm approving Breland. So now we're gonna do some role playing. But if you've been connected to the Yellow Letter Mentoring, we've done trainings on one, how to learn a person's personality. Because when you're doing these scripts, you definitely want to make sure that you understand the personality you're dealing with. You also want to understand that this person, no matter how they're feeling, what they're going through, they're in a situation. It is like going to the doctor's office and you just had a heart attack.